Ribeye steak, ahi tuna, crispy oyster mushrooms, and a scallop dinner. What do they all have in common? High heat sear, thanks to 3 simple keys. High heat searing is all about getting the outside of food aggressively cooked, charred, and crusted while keeping the inside much less done. Remember 3 keys: hot, dry, and thick. I'm gonna tell you something you already know. Heat cooks food. More heat cooks food faster. But what you might not realize is that higher temperatures cook food differently than lower temperatures. Heat hits the outside of food right away, but it takes time for it to travel to the center. On low heat, the outside and inside of food basically cook the same. But on high heat, the outside cooks way more than the inside. That's what lets us sear, so we'll be cranking up the heat as far as it goes. Dry goes hand in hand with hot. That's because water is a speed limit on heat. It can only get to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Eventually, water floats away as steam, but in the meantime, it makes everything cook slower. And the whole point of searing is to get that outside cooking as hot as possible. The simplest way to get food dry is to soak up moisture with a paper towel. The last principle is thick. It's hard to get a crust on thin food without overcooking the middle. But in thick food, the middle is protected from overcooking because it takes heat longer to get there. Thicker equals more difference between outside and inside. Hot, dry, and thick answer a bunch of questions about how to high heat sear. Choose a pan that can get really hot. That makes non-stick a no-go. I love stainless steel because it can get hot and also it's easy to clean and maintain. If you love carbon steel or cast iron, great. Use them for searing. Whatever you use, heavier is better. More metal retains more heat, making sure the temperature doesn't dip when you add your food. Like Bourdain said in Kitchen Confidential, your pan should cause serious injury if brought down hard against someone's skull. And make sure you keep your food uncovered. No lids. Remember how we want to keep our food dry? Well, there's always some amount of water in your ingredients. And when it turns to steam, we want to give it a quick way to escape. Lids trap moisture. No thank you. Whichever heat source you pick, crank it up as far as it'll go. That could be the stovetop with the grill, or even the highest broiler setting in your oven with the door cracked to let moisture out. For you indoor kitchen warriors like me, we're always living in fear of angering this guy. And when we cook hot, we are more likely to set him off. High temp is ideal, but in reality you have to compromise and that's fine. Use high smoke point oils that won't burn easily, open the windows and turn on the fan. But when things get smoky, you'll have to ease back on the heat. Choosing and prepping ingredients to sear is straightforward. Pick something you want well done on the outside and less cooked in the middle. I'd avoid things like chicken breast because it's high maintenance. Undercooked is dangerous and overcooked is dry. So what are you really going for there? And before you sear, give your food a good pat down with a paper towel and then season it with salt. That's it. First up, we have ahi tuna. This gets the paper towel pat down and then salt with a little pepper. I'm heating up my pan on the highest setting and you can see how the pan itself is getting hotter. This is like getting up to speed in your car before merging onto the freeway. In goes the ahi, and then let's define our goals. Outside should get a little brown for flavor and inside should basically stay uncooked. I don't want it much over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see how long that takes, giving each side of the ahi the heat treatment, and there we go. The inside is still good. Time to take it off, slice it up, and now I'm hitting it with a little more salt and some sesame seeds. Delicious. I ended up dipping this in soy sauce. Now let's sear these oyster mushrooms. Searing isn't just for meat. I'm rubbing them with a damp towel to clean them off and then drying them with a paper towel. I'm also leaving them out to air dry even more. Now they go into a hot pan with hot oil. I'm weighing down the mushrooms with this lid and a can of beans just so they get pressed all the way against the pan, exposing them to even more heat. You can see how it sinks down. But now I'm taking off the lid. Look at how much water was trapped in there. And now I'm leaving these undisturbed for a few minutes to get seared on one side. Off they come and oh my God, these are so good. I ate all of them right after this shot. Crisp on one side, moist throughout. Finally, we have a ribeye, a classic sear. Paper towel dry, then salt both sides. Once again, I'm letting the pan heat up first. We want the outside brown with a great crust and the inside somewhere in the low 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see how long this takes. A lot of searing is leaving your food alone, letting it get as hot as possible on the side touching the heat. Of course, I'm flipping it to get both sides cooked. And now the inside is the perfect temperature, so I'm pulling it, then slicing it, and then hitting it with some salt to season the newly exposed inside. Let's talk about the sear on the ribeye you just saw. I was hoping the crust would be even darker and visually stunning to demonstrate that I'm great at searing stuff, but it didn't come out perfect, and that's normal. Part of getting comfortable cooking is accepting things don't turn out the same every time. We are not restaurant chefs chasing Michelin stars. We are home cooks, making delicious food for ourselves and the people we love. When I made that ribeye, I was keeping tabs on the internal temperature, and I pulled the steak when it hit 130 degrees Fahrenheit. If I kept it on longer to get the outside more done, the inside would have overcooked. We have to consider these trade-offs when cooking. In this case, I prioritized inside doneness over the exterior, and it turned out stupid delicious all the same. So, how would I improve this? Hot, dry, and thick. That's why you learn this stuff. I could find a hotter heat source, I could do something fancy to dry it out, like leave it out in the fridge overnight, or I could buy a thicker, more expensive ribeye. Or know I did a good enough job making something delicious. Remember that the next time you cook. Now I'm going to take you through my full thought process planning a meal. The plan: demo a high heat sear. Side mission: use some of the homegrown tomatoes I just picked. Okay, we haven't touched on seafood yet, and seared scallops are a classic. I associate seared scallops with panicked romantics trying to make something special on Valentine's Day. Has that ever been you? Let's demystify them. Again, this is simple: hot, dry, thick. So we'll pick up large scallops, which will be easier to sear than the little guys. And what about tomatoes? Scallops will clearly be the star, so I'm picturing some sort of salad with tomatoes for the base. All right, let's think through flavor. Scallops are luscious and buttery. That's a comforting flavor profile. I want to add something energizing for excitement. How about an Argentine chimichurri? It's a vibrant green sauce with bright acid, garlic, and spice notes. I'm thinking a little dollop on each scallop. That's it. Okay, back to the salad base. Let's look to Argentine cuisine for inspiration since we're already going with chimichurri. Here's where I like to do some Googling around, especially images, to see what pops out to me. I'm looking for Argentine salads that feature tomatoes. Check out this hearts of palm salad. So this version is big chunks of tomato, avocado, and hearts of palm with some energetic elements. Looks awesome. And the dressings I'm seeing, they're oil and citrus juice and vinegar based. That's basically the chimichurri we're already making. The chimichurri just has some added elements like heat and garlic and herbs. So let's use the chimichurri as the dressing. One less thing to make and it'll tie the star and the base together. Let's game plan the cooking timeline. The scallops take about 10 minutes and I want to serve them right away, so we're going to do that last. But everything else can be prepped ahead of time. It's all mix stuff up and cut stuff up. I'll cut the avocado last so that it doesn't get brown. Let's do it. So I'm blending together the chimichurri by throwing everything into this little food processor, tasting and adjusting. This needs a little more garlic and salt, and that'll sit in the fridge ready to go for as long as I need it. Next, I'm getting everything cut up and ready for the salad in this bowl, saving the avocado for the end. It's scallop time. I'm drying them on a paper towel and sprinkling on salt. I've got a hot pan and I'm adding vegetable oil. Once it's very hot, I'm adding the scallops and leaving them be for a few minutes until the underside is gorgeous, but the inside is still tender. Now I'll flip them so the other side gets color. I'm going to use this thermometer to make sure that we're not overcooking the middle. I want to pull this around 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Out they come, and I'm letting them sit for a minute while I cut the avocado into the waiting salad bowl, throw in the chimichurri, and toss. This looks and smells even better than I was imagining. The salad gets plated, then 3 scallops, each one getting a nice dot of chimichurri on top. This was so good. Buttery scallops, bright chimichurri, a killer salad, definitely more of a special occasion meal. Big scallops are not cheap, but in less than 30 minutes, and with the right knowledge of high heat sear, I had an incredible meal for 2, as well as some amazing leftover chimichurri that I'm already dreaming about using over the next week. High heat sear your next meal using the 3 keys: hot, dry, and thick. It's that simple. And remember to go easy on yourself. Home cooking perfection is feeding yourself and your loved ones a satisfying meal, not nailing technique. The more reps you get in, the more often things will come out the way you picture. Check out my other videos that make up my 7 techniques to cook anything series and take all the confusion out of cooking. See you next time.